Morning, everybody. It is 8:10 a.m. It is September 15th. So, what happened yesterday, right? We held the structure I talked about yesterday. Okay? NASDAQ made it look like it was going to break that most traded price of the year, the month, the week, but it held it. And once it crossed it over, it took off. Okay? So, they weren't in sync. And what did the ES do? It held its level as well. Okay? That's why structure is really, really important. Okay, this market has not been easy to trade this week with the rollovers. Okay, with the contract rollovers. Now today is quad witching. Okay, why is it called quad witching? Okay, because you have stocks monthly expirations expiring today. Okay, you have futures contracts expiring today. You have futures options contracts expiring today, and you have index options expiring today. So that's why they call it quad witching. So that means a lot of money is going to be taken off the books today. A lot. Okay. So expect some volatility. Okay. Some craziness. And then sometimes you'll get this pinning effect later in the day where stocks will just pin. Okay. Due to gamma. All right. So doesn't always happen, but it happens enough that pinning happens. Okay, a large gamma, the largest gamma, usually just gets pinned there. Okay, so we have a decent amount to talk about today. There's not a news dropping today, except at 10 a.m. There's Michigan consumer sentiment. There's a bunch of those, so watch out for that. And without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use volume profile, market profile, along with supply and demand and the rolling most traded price of the week and the month to find structure in this market. Price always fools you into believe that it's going to sell off, that it's going to go to the moon, but structure keeps you grounded. Okay, that's why I love using my levels. Okay, that's why I love using my levels, because it really says, okay, if it holds this, it's bullish, or if it doesn't hold this, it's bearish. Then you got to start looking at possible plays. All right. So that's really, it holds true. You can't deny it. All right, it really holds true. Okay. Okay. So subscribe, set an alert if you haven't already. You can always give me a big thumbs up if you like what you see. All right. And then you can always follow me on Twitter. I am working on the new logo, so at Gonzo719. All right. And we can get right into futures. Okay, look at the watch list, see what's going on. There's a lot to talk about in the market profile already. Okay, so let's get into the watch list. So who's the leader today? Silver, volatile metal, right? In order for that to happen, the dollar's got to be a little weak. Okay, so let's get in some love. The metals. Silver's up 1.96%. Gold's up 0.39. Crude is cruising. It's over $90 a barrel. That has to do with China getting better data and economic activity than expected today. So their stimulus is starting to prove fruitful. Okay, the Dow is up 0.19. ES is basically up a little bit, 0.09. 10-year yield reports at 820. I suspect it would rise a little bit with the bonds selling again. 30-year bonds are selling. Russell's flat to down a little bit. The Nasdaq is flat basically, but only down 0.06. Dollar's down 0.09. 30-year bonds getting sold down 0.42. Bitcoin's down 0.73. The VIX is down 0.78. Ether's down 0.79. Okay, moving on. Stocks I like to day trade. All right, so let's talk about Tesla. Tesla's up 0.92. Okay, Tesla's up 0.92. What's gonna help Tesla is the United Auto Workers Union is about to strike, or is on strike. That's hurting stuff in 3 different plants: Ford, GM, I think Stellantis, something like that, right? So Tesla doesn't have unionized workers, so it's getting a nice push from that. Okay, Netflix has been destroyed, down at 400. 400 is a large negative gamma level. 400. So let's see if that catches a bid. Not sure if it will, but it's pretty oversold. Have to see, right? JP Morgan. All right. Apple's got some radiation in Apple iPhone 12s in France that they have to re-update. Baba's with the China positive economic activity. Okay. And what do we got as laggards? All right. Nvidia is down 0.18. That's not much of a laggard. AMD is down 0.27. Amazon is down 0.79. Now, let's see why Amazon could that be. Why Wedbush reiterates outperform? Don't know. Right now, not really sure. It's been Amazon's having a nice move lately. Okay. So, and Adobe beat earnings. However, Adobe is going down. Everything looked good in Adobe. Got an upgrade. Got price raise targets. Maybe people taking profits. Okay, so let's go over to the top sector stocks in each sector. Disney. Disney is up 0.85. Roblox 0.36. Cat 0.30. And now we go down to laggards. Not really. Salesforce actually had some positive. They're hiring people. They're hiring more people. They want to grow the company. That was up previously. Okay, so semiconductors are getting tiny bit of weakness. Okay. Let's look at sectors. Financials, not much of a there's not much of a leader here right now. Okay, but it is financials, healthcare, staples, whatever. Semis is the weakest sector. Okay, semiconductors. Okay, out of the indexes, just the Russell is slightly up. Okay, SPY is actually the weakest out of the Dow, the Russell. Okay, that's that. Okay, now we can go into some news. Let's do that. Look at the economic calendar economic calendar today. Okay, let's look at what we have here. Today, 8:30 import export prices. Yeah. 10 a.m. Okay, 10 a.m. you have 5 Michigan data coming out. Okay, you got consumer sentiment, 5-year inflation expectations, all this coming out. They all drop at 10. Should cause some volatility. I would not enter a trade at 10 o'clock or close to it. Okay, that's a big heads up there. Okay, now we talked about now it says potential green shoots for China economic activity. Chinese industrial production increased by more than expected in August, so that's good. That's gonna help oil rally. So that's why oil is rallying further, right? So that's helping oil. Now, what happened yesterday, right? So Lagarde said that it's probably the last time that they're hiring their interest rates. So that is pushing. That was positive. Okay, that was positive. Um, but she also said they're not discussing rate cuts. All right, so that's something. Okay, so now the other thing is the biggest weekly inflow to U.S. equities since March 2022, 26.4 billion, and the biggest inflow to large cap stocks since May of 2022. Okay, that's interesting, right? Then there also is 25.3 billion flows to stocks, 20.89 billion to cash, 4.8 billion to bonds, and 600 million from gold in the week to Wednesday. Okay, So that's what's been going on there. I already talked to today's quad witching. Okay. Now we can get right into the daily charts. Okay. Moving right along here today. Now let's look at what we have here. We finally got some kind of move. Okay. We were in this area here. Okay. We were in this area. Okay. And the SPY, and here's my express chart, right? Because you can see monthly, weeklies, all that on it. Okay. So we broke out of that little balance. We moved away from it. And where did we hit resistance? Well, here's that orange line. What does that mean? That's last week's highs. So now, right to the tick, pretty much. Went up right up to last week's highs, and then we closed here. Okay, now we're above. We're out of this web. Okay, 50-day moving average, 90 EMA daily, 20 simple moving average. Okay, still within last month. Okay, here's the previous week's high and low. So this last week was still within the previous week. Okay, and this week is still within last week high and low. Okay, so this is a big move. This is a big level, which is 451, to kind of see if we can move above that and move to the next 453. Okay, so I'll probably put that level on my chart as well. Now I did talk about key levels, right? I said this 448, you needed to get over it. What did we do? Right, we opened here, we came down, and then we went higher. Okay, so that's that. Now where are we now? 449.24. So we're right here. 449.24. Right there. So are we really there? It says we're there. I didn't think we were that low from the highs of yesterday. Is that right? I guess it's right. 449.24. Okay. I don't know why that doesn't seem right to me. We're at the midpoint of yesterday's session. And futures is not really showing that. And we're dropping here. So it's interesting here. If we're by the open of yesterday. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, very interesting. Alright, so that's enough of that. So that's in the mid of yesterday's session. Alright, I got to look at that in futures to see. That's obviously futures and the Aspire are going to be different. Okay. And we closed that gap. There was a gap here. Okay, so we closed that yesterday. So let's get into the Qs. It's throwing me off a little bit with the SPY. Okay, let's look at the Qs. Now look, I had that downtrend, we broke it, right? Now, what happened in the Qs, we didn't really get out of the resistance level I talked about yesterday. So that resistance was where? I told everybody 377.49, right? So we peaked above it, but we couldn't hold above it. See this? Right here, resistance, resistance, and look, yesterday we could not hold above it. Okay, so look at the difference. This is last week's highs. We did not reach it. SPY was stronger. SPY reached it. Okay, but out of the web though, 50-day moving average, 9 EMA, and we got the 20-day simple moving average. Okay, so really important that we're under it. Now, where are we at now? 376.82. 376.82. We're right here. Okay, so below the close, okay, a little bit in the middle, almost in the middle of the session, right? So interesting, right? You need to kind of move past this in order to take these shorts and give them some pain, more pain to move up to this level, which would be last week's highs of 379.31. Okay, but we did break this downtrend, so let's just see. That would be the next move up to this level here. Okay, moving on to the 10-year yield. This is just very interesting that you're getting a move back up in yields. So we came down here, and now look, we're moved up all the way to here. So the bond market's a leading indicator. So still, rising rates is never good for equities. But sometimes they're not in sync. Okay? So the more this goes higher, the more pressure is going to be put on equities. So you really gotta keep your eye on that. Okay, you really gotta keep your eye on that. Okay, let's look at the VIX. The VIX is pretty much really complacent. Look at it, it's all the way down here to 12. 12, the VIX. Okay, now you can see my express levels here, right? We're below last month's low. So look at that. That was last month's low. We're already down here at a low point of a previous month, right here. Okay, below last week's low as well. So very complacent, not a lot of fear in this market. That's what that's showing. The VIX shows you 30 months, a month out of fear. So people are not buying fear in the next month. So let's go over to the dollar. Let's look at the dollar. All right, the dollar. Let's zoom in here. The dollar is above last week's highs and lows, right? Above last month's highs and lows. So the dollar, can it move higher than 105? That's really the question here. Can it move higher than 105? The euro has been tanking, and it's at a key support level. Okay, so the dollar, this is bad, usually bad for commodities, but oil is just catching a bid. Okay, usually see that. So you notice two things: bond market's going, the yields are going higher, dollars going higher. That usually would send stocks lower. Okay, so they're not really working like they normally would. Now let's look at the euro. The euro, I believe, is at a very key support level. Okay, so look at this fall in the euro. Look at that. That currency is getting beaten. All right, but it's at key levels. Look at these monthly lows here. Monthly low, monthly low. Well, we're at that level. Look at that big candle. So if you get above here, this level here, this is last month's lows. If you start moving up, that should put the dollar dollar should go down. But however, if you keep falling, let's look at this. You're at a key support. See right here? This is key support right there in the euro. So this would put pressure on the dollar if this does the rise. We have to watch it. You have to watch it. Okay, that wraps up that. Okay, now we're going to get into the market profile. Okay, let's look at that together. Okay, so this is a very interesting profile right now. Okay, very, very interesting. Now we could finally get into some nuances because news blew technicals out of the water a little bit. Okay, but this is a very, very interesting profile right now that we're looking at. Okay, let's look at the profile. Okay, now we got our excess at the top, right? We got our most traded price, and then we got a little bit of excess at the bottom. Okay, this was the level. I just want to show everybody here. The most traded price of the week is right here. We opened, look what, I just want to show you guys this. We opened here. Look what happened. It went down, tested this structure. I said this area had to hold. Well, it did. And then we went all the way up. You see why I put those on my chart? If somebody else would have been like, oh my God, we opened and we slammed down, you're going to think we're going to sell off. And we also came into a demand zone. So I was looking long. I went long in Google. So that's you have to look at is structure, not price. Okay, so let's look at that profile. We got that. So we got the most trader price. So this is still the area to defend, to be to make prices go higher. Okay, that's what we're looking at. This is still the important area. That price is 45.27. Okay, this area around here. As long as that's defended, market can move higher. That's how that works. Okay, now this was a very poor low here that just finally got broken. So I'm expecting to get a little move down right now. Okay, because look at this area right here. Multiple lows at this low. So I can break this out and show you guys by, these are 30-minute bars. You see this support here? It was defended multiple times and finally broke right now. So that's going to cause some excess. Now either you're going to defend this right here now, right? So longs just got liquidated a little bit. Now this could possibly fuel the move higher. Now I expect to get a little more push down. That's what I expect. Doesn't mean I have to be true. Now look at the high here. 3. This is a poor high in the overnight. Okay, so you have longs at poor location here. So there's shorts here. So this is a key area. If we move back up here, this will fuel the move higher. Okay. So you got a poor high up here. Okay, this poor low has just been corrected. Now, do you get a move lower? Okay, so let's look real quick. Yesterday's high, overnight lows right now at the lows. You're getting a little more, which I expect. Here's the low from yesterday. Big level to defend as well. 45 is the 50% Fibonacci, is the midpoint of yesterday's session. That is really a defense. So if it comes down here, you can still move higher, right? So we have to see. Inventory is not an edge right now. It's in the middle of the session. That's not an edge. Let's talk about game plans. Let's talk about scenarios here. Okay. Let's go with bull. Let's go with bull. Okay. This is the line, a little bit of a line in the sand here. Okay. Now what do you have here? You have a weak low. This is the overnight low right now, and I don't know if it's going to continue to be the overnight low, but if it is, this is a weak low because you got the most trader price of yesterday here. Okay, now, and you got the 50-day simple moving average here. It's a lot of confluence. If you come through here and you start to defend it, we're going to go higher. We're going to break this poor high, and we're going to get a move higher. Okay, now remember, as long as we defend this, you have to be bullish. Okay, we're getting some farther movement down. I expect this. Okay, even if we come down to the 50%. Okay. Now again, even if we fall all the way down here into this demand zone in monthly VWAP, you could still get a move. All right, let's talk about the bear. All right, you got the weak low here, I just said. So if you wanted to go short, you'd need to see this, a break, hold, probably test that Fibonacci, right? But this is a bearish scenario, and then we could start working our way back to the most trader price. Okay, another thing is move up into this supply, and then you could roll over as well. Okay, that's what I see right now. See, we're getting the extension. This is what I talked about. Remember I said we should get farther move down? That's what we're getting right now. That's what we're getting right now. Okay, and what do you need to fuel move higher? You need liquidity. So you have shorts here now. Shorts are working their way down. And once they get some like a support here, they're going to be on their backs, and that could fuel the move higher. That's how the market works. Okay, let's move on to the Nasdaq. Okay, hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Let's look at the Nasdaq together. Okay. All right, here's the Nasdaq monster level. I keep talking about it. Most traded price of the year, the month, the week. Okay, that's the big level that's got to be defended. Okay, now Nasdaq's pushing down right now. Okay, pushing down. Okay, Nasdaq is pushing down, and it needs to defend this level. There's also a demand zone here. There's also a monthly VWAP here. Okay, so that's our big level. Call it 15575. All right, but this just big area needs to be defended. That's all. This is just price action. If this is held, it can do that. All right, let's look at real quick levels. Yesterday's high, yesterday's low. Here's the 50%, 15623. This needs to be, this could be a little defense as well, but the big structure is here. That's got to be defended. Okay. Now you have a poor high as well in the Nasdaq. So this is just, these two highs now are weak. That's a weak high. That just fuels it for when, if we come back there, boom, you're gonna move. Okay. Now let's get into the bull bear. We'll do the bull scenario first. First line of defense is 15623. That's the 50% Fibonacci. All right, so you could come down, break it a little bit, get lower highs, fuel the move higher. Okay, you got supply here, but remember that weak high here can get boom, could come back, and then that could fuel the move higher. Okay, also can come down to this big area that you could be defended. You could chop in here, maybe even do one of these, boop, recover, lower high, and that will fuel the move higher. Okay, that is the bull. Let's go to the bear. Okay, so right now you have supply here. Okay, so what you need to see here is you could obviously keep moving lower. That's not really something that could happen, but as far as a trading scenario, you want to see some kind of push, that we move up, we go into the supply, we maybe even touch that weak high, but then we start to roll over and we go back down to this big level. Now, biggest bear scenario would be if we come down here and break through this, hold, well, you're moving down. Okay, but right now my mind is set on higher because we're above this level. But this scenario has to be part of my scenarios. Okay, we could also come up here and come up to this supply zone, get some weakness, okay, and roll over as well. Okay, that's the scenarios for today. As always, subscribe, set an alert. Okay, please give me a like if you like what you saw, if you understand what you saw. I mean, it's looking nice right now. Okay, it's looking real nice right now. All right, see, this is different, right? Someone else might look at this selling as like, oh man, oh no, oh god, oh my god, I'm long, right? Because it's still moving right now. Okay, don't worry about that. Look at structure. Okay, don't worry about that. Okay, again, updating the logo. Follow me on Twitter at Gonzo719. Okay, we got our plan. Good luck to everybody. Everybody had a good weekend. All right, stay disciplined. Remember, 10 a.m. news is dropping. Okay, so you guys will hear from me again probably Monday. All right, everybody have a good weekend.